Hello and welcome to Rebel City Podcast. This week's guest is Twitter legend. This is take two, so just because we're laughing. Sean McDonald, better known for Blethered Podcast. How's it going, mate?
Aye, good, mate. Thanks for having me.
Not at all, mate. It's Podcasters Union. You need
I know. Got each other's backs.
So you've got missing for your podcast a couple of podcasters. There's a few good ones out there, to be honest, man. You should get the boy KP through for Edinburgh. His podcast's fucking excellent. Gets decent numbers.
I'm going to look so ignorant now. Who is it?
No, he's not really that well known in like sort of social media, like Scottish terms, but his podcast does well like, worldwide.
Really,
I think he's got a few photos of people in Thailand wearing his t-shirts and stuff like that. So does pretty well. It's called I Am KP.
I Am KP.
He was in a band, a decent sort of successful Perth band.
Was it like interviews and stuff? Or?
Aye, just gets. He's had Chris Bungard and quite a few sort of like big names on his podcast.
I need to check that.
Aye, definitely, mate. Get him on. But how are you finding doing the podcast?
Aye, good. I've been enjoying it. I don't really know what my intention was with it when I started.
Right.
Just thought it'd be quite fun.
Aye.
It's gone alright. Aye. I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement. You can tell, like, if you listen to the first one, as time goes on, I think you can probably hear I'm getting a bit more comfortable, slightly better at editing.
Did you do it all yourself?
Aye, do it all myself. Basically just record it with a mic, just into the MacBook. I don't cut too much at it. There's a few things where I've been like, right, I need to, fuck's sake, that kind of go in.
There's a few moments I wish we'd done that.
Aye, we're balls out, fuck it, man.
Do you just put everything in it?
Aye, man, I just literally like drag it off of Logic and mix it and fire it out.
It's not even me, it's other, because I'm quite conscious. Like, I don't really touch football.
Yeah.
I don't really want to touch, like, talking about Celtic or that.
Right.
Because I don't want to be divisive.
Exactly.
Because if I get started, I'll probably say something a bit inflammatory.
You can do it here.
Aye.
It's alright, mate. We'll talk football.
We've done it a few. We've all not really went and run it either.
See, when we first started, we were deliberately, kind of similar to yourself, like, we'll deliberately keep us away from Celtic. But we've started to just drip it in because we so much, especially like what I do is about football. You know what I mean? It's almost like Celtic's my bird. I'm always thinking about Celtic, but you can't have people on and no talk about football. Do you know what I mean?
I know. I think it would take away a lot of authenticity because that's a big part of my life, and every day is spent thinking about it and talking about it. But I kind of don't deliberately go there. If somebody brings it up, I'm quite happy to talk about it. Of course. The thing, and I'm not going to stick anybody in, but there's been quite a few episodes where people have said career-ending stuff.
Right.
If I was to put it out, I'm like, I can't. Are you mental? Like, surely you can't be saying that. So I've had to go back and edit it, but I don't think you can really tell. But in terms of like the music and all that, and the kind of intro, it's quite straightforward. I didn't expect it to be so simple. Although to begin with, fuck me, how it was stressful. I don't know if you said the same thing. So you just try to, how do you work the software? I mean, how do you get it to sound right? How do you mix it in?
I was chilling all that. He does all that.
Do you? We were all good, mate. I think I thought about, I'm just going to start a fucking podcast. Fuck it, about June last year, and Googled, would I need to start a podcast? And I had everything. So I was like, I'm all good. I'd been in bands, and so I've worked with audio slightly, a wee bit. And in terms of like audio, podcasting's like literally the fucking bottom of the barrel when it comes to it. So it's like you're saying, once you know what you're doing,
it becomes simple. I didn't have a clue. I was quite lucky. A few pals of mine run podcasts like 20-minute Tims.
Cool.
And Extreme Polls. Do you ever listen to that?
No.
See the Twitter account, Just Vote, where it's like, I'm trying to think. So 5 million, it'll be like £5 million cash in your bank account, but for the rest of your life you have to passionately defend the actions of Adolf Hitler.
Right.
Right,
So would you rather?
Aye, saw that kind of thing, and it's my mate Stevie Din. So Stephen Arbuckle at 20-minute Tim's helped it with Stevie. It's grown quite a bit, so he's done stuff with like Capital FM.
Right.
And he's just done one with the Scottish national team.
All right, cool.
And I don't know if the video's out yet, but it's John McGinn and somebody else.
Right.
And the question was £10 million. Do you want me to get it actually? I'll see if I can get it.
I go for it, fuck it. You can.
If I can't, I'll not like take ages, but if I'll try and get it. So it was like £10 million cash, but for the next 10 years, every house you live in is severely haunted. And it's like at least once a month you will be terrified to like.
So I'd probably take it. I'd probably take that.
This is
honest. That's just, you'd learn how to fucking deal with the hauntings. You'd just be like, pure, use a 10 million quid and I'll just shock therapy.
Aye. 10 million quid and use about like 7-8 to hire Ghostbusters.
Do you
Keep free for yourself.
I'm going to develop the fucking proton pack. That's what I'm
By
going
the
to
way, see last night I was in I'm just punting all sorts of stuff here places. I was in Revolution.
All right.
And it's the old tunnel.
Right. I
so,
Rudy was telling us about that.
It's good, right?
Aye.
It's good. So we're up the stairs and then they say to you about 12:30, right, every day go down. So it's kind of, when I was in it, because I wasn't that drunk, but I was like trying to work out like, right, is this tunnel?
Aye.
So I was like, where would stuff be? But it looks totally different. But the lights came up. It's like 1 o'clock. The lights came up, and they started flashing. The music went off, and everybody's like looking about. And then it just went Ghostbusters theme tune, and a guy ran through dressed in like the green. What's that mad green?
Slime.
Ghost? Dressed like that, and then a guy dressed as a Ghostbuster with like a mad gas canister was chasing him about, and this just happened for 5 minutes, and I was like,
what the fuck is
I
going
was
on
like,
here?
has somebody put acid in my drink? What is happening here? It was bizarre.
I've been spiked.
Aye. But I
What was that about?
fuck knows.
No
And then
idea.
something else happened as well. Then they had something else, and like they were pushing somebody through in a trolley while some song was playing, and I was like, this is.
Aye. I think that was like the one time, I think you had a gig at one point in the ABC, and we were doing the ABC 2 after it, just sort of sitting in couches having a drink, and looked up, I think it was Easter weekend, and there was like a guy fully dressed as Jesus, pure cut and shapes on the stage.
That's right, aye.
And I was like,
So that
What?
was the guys that run King Tut's DF concerts have their monthly staff night out in ABC 2, and it's their night out, and they do a thing. It's actually like it's quite a good night. They've turned into a night where they have like a roulette wheel with loads of like 90s pop acts on it, like Spice Girls, Eternal, and you spin it, and then they play one of the songs, and the guy Craig that runs Tuts dresses up as Jesus. Well, he dresses up as something different every month, but that night it was Jesus.
He's obviously guaranteed his entry, because imagine like somebody just dressed up like, it'll be a laugh, I'll dress up as Jesus, and then like, you can't come in here, mate.
Especially in the West of Scotland.
anybody under 18 wanting to get in nightclubs, just go dressed as Jesus.
Aye, well, was this discrimination?
We are roulette wheel. Are we getting this? What's happening?
What?
That's whatever we were going to get.
Oh right, no, I was going to get the thing, mate, but I couldn't be asked.
Aye. Cool.
Because I couldn't find it. I've deleted the Twitter app off my phone. I should have explained a wee bit further, so I'm just using the browser, and it just takes forever.
Aye.
Because Twitter, believe it or not, does my nutting. It's very addictive.
Aye, it's one of these ones. See, the last couple of days, I've been really conscious of the amount of fucking Twitter I've been doing. And I'm pretty decent at managing it. And I'm noticing so many things, and everything pisses me off, man. Like
Same.
everybody, even people I'm like, I know them in real life and I like them, but when I'm on Twitter, I'm like, you're a fucking arsehole. Do you know what I mean?
I probably should acknowledge that I'm probably that guy for other people.
For other people.
I'm aware of that. It just becomes addictive. It's designed to be addictive.
100%.
It's designed to keep you looking at it, and it annoys me. And I do talk shit, and it's funny. Like, you can get a laugh. It's good for the pod. It's good for the podcast, and that is what it's for. But it goes a bit far.
Because a lot of people take themselves extremely seriously, and you're like,
I know.
I had to explain to my dad once in the last year or so, like, oh, I can't say this, that, and whatever online. Like, I see you're tweeting it's this, that, and the other, politics, football, yada yada, and I'm like, Dad, you get that the internet isn't real, right? It's just people bamming people up and talking shit. Like, don't take any of it seriously. You know what I mean? Like, but plenty of people do.
I think there's a bit of a sort of crossover happening. I think that certain, like you're saying, there's certain people that actually think it's real, but it is kind of real. It's getting to that point now where people are getting held accountable for what they say online. Whereas if you go back to Facebook first launched Bebo, you could say whatever the fuck you wanted. Nobody gave a fuck. Do you know what I mean? They would just delete you. And now it's became this sort of almost like the village shaming of people. We've like regressed back to something that we used to do to punish people back in like the 1700s, where they would drag you out and
people
shame.
emailing your employer, like, for something you said on Twitter. Like, that's wild.
I remember, and I still stand by this. So see if any, I'm looking right in the camera here. See if any are listening. Fuck you. See, this girl put a tweet up, right? She put a picture up. This was like 2 years ago. And she was basically a selfie of herself, right, on London Bridge. And she wrote, in speech marks, all Tory voters, you see where this is going?
Right.
All Tory voters are fat, middle-aged white men.
Okay.
And then she had a picture of herself saying, hi, I'm Shannon, 21, Tory, with a smiley face. So I said, hi, Shannon, 21, Tory, jump off that bridge. Right, so...
Aye.
Right, so
Seems
then, like,
fair.
But I totally owned it, right? So she's retweeted it, like, look at the abuse I'm getting. I've had suicidal tendencies and all that. And I was like,
because you're going to know that.
I know. I was like, I'm going to fucking know that, right? So I was like, my kind of rebuttals to stuff was like, if you actually, so I think some Twitter account that was like Young Conservatives, and it had like 100,000 followers, right? So I was like, oh fuck, right? I was kind of braced for it, but I thought, I'm owning this. So they said, would you like to explain what you mean? Hi Sean, would you like to explain what you meant by this tweet? And I was like, hi mate, no problem. Like, fuck every single one of you. And I just totally wasn't backing down. They were saying like, you're encouraging her to commit suicide. And I was like, well, you're actually removing all context here, because there's always
she's still on the bridge. If she's not, then we're good. You know what I mean?
She's like, and they were trying to report me to Metropolitan Police and all that. And I was like, no bother mate, I live in Spain anyway, so you gotta fucking extradite me.
The sort of conservative, like the young emerging sort of right wing that's happening in the UK and America, they're almost like the worst people that have ever fucking existed. Like these people that they've got all the information and it's almost, I mean, there's been a few that I've had chats with where they are outright saying like, we reject sort of like being nice to other people. Like, it's not about that. For us to survive, for us to like move forward, we need to be pricks to these people that are the other, and like racism's almost like, aye, we're racist. It's getting to that point where people are just like, I believe you're shaming them by going, but you think this, and it's like, aye, that's what I think.
See like, so much for the tolerant left. I see, so how much you're talking like, fucking shut up, mate.
Aye.
I so like, so if I don't know, just do something absolutely out of order, and then go, oh, what about my rights? Like, do you not tolerate me? Like, I always have this argument with people, the paradox of tolerance. You don't tolerate intolerance. It's like you see a Nazi, you punch him in the fucking jaw. and
one way you're going about it anyway.
And see that, I just completely reject that wholeheartedly, that, well, we've got a difference in politics. No, we don't, mate. You think it's alright to absolutely persecute groups that can't fucking, or oppress groups that can't speak up for themselves. So it's up to us to speak up for them. I completely reject that. It's just, we're a bit left and you're a bit right. Sorry, you're a bit right. And nah, so it's completely different.
It's almost became like, because I think if you go back to the 90s and the early 2000s, anybody that had even dared utter that they were like fascist or that they were like proper right wing or openly racist would have been shamed. And it's got to the point now where these people went underground and now they're like emerging out as like, this is how we think. So it's almost like that way of thinking, I definitely feel like that as well. That's the way that I think. But I think that I think that people are right when they say that there needs to be a level of engagement that happens, not to accept what they think as being like valid, but to show other people this isn't a valid way of thinking. Like, don't think that because you've lost your job that somehow you fall into the same category as these people that are literally going, I don't like black people, I don't like Asians, I don't like Muslims. It's like, stop getting caught up, and people are getting dragged into it under like free speech, like the way they sort of come on sort of lighter terms.
But I think that's been a fairly like consistent plan amongst these groups. Is like, I think if you've seen Black Klansmen or anything like in the last year, it basically kind of covers the guy Duke of the KKK who's going, these views are abhorrent to people, like we need to find a way to like minimise, and that's where the sort of dog whistle comes in, and how the guy who lost his job somehow believes that he lost his job to an immigrant, or you know what I mean, when in actual fact his company downsized and outsourced all his jobs to somewhere else. It had nothing to do with any migrants, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's where it's come from. There's been a sustained, prolonged campaign by these kind of like fascist and alt-right groups to like normalise their behaviour. It's not happened overnight. Like, they've been at it for decades. You know what I mean?
The amount of people that defended the fucking Tiki Talks Brigade in Charlottesville.
I know.
And when you actually look at what fucking happened, if you just strip it down to brass tacks about what fucking happened, they were singing "Jews will not replace us." It's like, you can fuck off. Like, you can actually take that Tiki Torch and ram it right up your fucking arse, mate. Like, you're not defending freedom of speech. You're actually being disgusting. Like,
see that part of hammer over the skull. People can look at that and go, what a Neanderthal, imagine saying that. Hammer over the skull.
Like the gene pool doesn't need them.
Nah, like, we're not having a debate. I know what you're saying about sometimes it's good to have that conversation to shine a light on it, but then that becomes the point where it is giving them some sort of validity.
That's it.
Or like sort of verifying them.
This is where we are, isn't it? Is that we've tried to sort of let the lighter side of their views in, but it's just gave people almost like sort of an open fucking market to just abuse other people. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff that's happened to you, and I'm not a fan of politicians, like absolutely fucking not, but I don't think that they should have guys pointing cameras and screaming in their fucking face as they walk to their work. Essentially, it's like they're human beings. Like, do you know what I mean? It's getting fucking beyond a joke. Do you know
See, talking about giving opinions and stuff and where you stand in that, people have kind of said to me, maybe just don't say that, because what if... So an example I got was, what if you say X about Tories or X about people that are on the right, and say there's a network that maybe wants to bring you in to do a wee bit of work. What if they see that and they don't like it? And see to that, I'd say, fuck you then. Because well said, I would much rather say what I feel.
Yeah.
And that's not in the case of, I hate black people there, I'm saying what I feel. More like, well, I know that to be right, so I would much rather go to bed or wake up knowing that I said what should have been said. And I'm not saying as if like I'm some spokesperson or some leader for the poor and downtrodden, but if somebody takes exception to these things that I'm saying about Tories or about pure right wing, then off you fuck. Like, thanks for highlighting that, because I want nothing to do with you. I find you reprehensible.
Absolutely.
Aye.
So I would never ever shy away. I know I've just said I want to talk about Celtic or that. That's more because it's just kind of, I'd probably be as well saying fucking 50% of the listeners are just going to leave. Because if I keep going on about it, because it's not a Celtic podcast.
No, definitely.
But I would never ever, I would never have any problem saying, I think Tories are scum. I think if you can vote for that, you can support that, and then that goes further extension. You know. And
I mean, I think some of the debate that can be had can maybe stop people getting to the extremes that we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, there is a level where there is people who you could sit down and be like, no man, here's what's really happening, and they'd probably go, do you know what? I'm with you now. I get what you're saying. But for the people that aren't willing to listen, and that's a big thing, is that we're talking here as if we're making like an assumption that reason will change people's minds anymore, or logic or facts will change people's minds anymore. And these guys that are already after the far right or the far left or whatever we want to talk about are already so entrenched that you're not going to win the argument anyway. So why waste any time getting down and fighting with them?
I'm getting myself pure heated up here.
Ready to fucking go. I've spoke to a couple of people that have been absolutely like nice people, like especially like through work. I mean, I've got one person in particular I met through work that was openly a Tory, that is from like Cornwall or whatever. So it's their patch, and I was almost like asking the guy to justify to me why would you vote Tory, and his explanation was almost like, but you're
fucking hate poor people.
Well, no, really. It was more a case of like, if you look at it on like a big scale, that is the only way to lift the majority of people out of poverty. That isn't going to help everybody. Now, I didn't really debate the guy on that, because it's like, whatever. But I was saying to him, but you're ignoring the cruelty to that. Like, you're completely ignoring, like, you're saying that where I stay, the majority of people have got money and we want to keep it. Right, cool. That's what the guy, when I sort of sifted through what he'd said to me, that's what he said to me, is that my parents went to Oxford and I went to Oxford, and like, it's the only way that we want it to be. We don't want it to be socialist, because then we are going to get stuff taken off us or whatever. You're like, okay, right, fair enough. But when I asked him about the sort of austerity and how he felt about these, like the buses, like his family and his friends don't rely on public transport or trains. Like, take that just for instance, as you go further north, working class people need the trains to get to work. The price of that train is just going up and up and up under austerity with it, and it was almost like that's just a sort of byproduct to like capitalism. And you're like, no, fuck you, mate. Like, if we ran these fucking industries and we could keep them in-house, we can control the price, we can control the quality. When we've sold them off, it was a great fucking idea, because you said ran it into the fucking ground. And
people get rich. They run things into the ground intentionally.
Oh, definitely, man.
Absolutely.
Privatisations get an actual structure, and it baffles me when people can't fucking see it in action. Do you know what I mean?
The post office, look at that. I mean, they were, it's worthless, it's not up to date, it needs to evolve and blah. And then like a year later, they've sold off 20 billion quid there. And you're just like, what?
I'm not claiming to have know the answers, I'll be like, don't vote Tory because I've got the right thing for you.
I'm the same, mate.
And it's also, it frustrates me, people go, oh, so you're saying that because I've got a difference in politics. I'm like, listen, pal, we're not talking about fucking how we're distributing the budget for refuse collection, or what we're going to spend on like menial fucking things. We're talking about, absolutely destroying the welfare system, people dying. Meanwhile, people dying. These are all getting rich as fuck. Remember when George Osborne was the Chancellor and it turned, and him and Cameron had all sorts of money offshore? Well, I remember they hammered Jimmy Carr for
Gary Barlow and Jimmy Carr got it.
Hammered them, threw them under the bus, and they've done the exact same. The Chancellor, whose job is to manage the economy, is hiding money offshore.
I think David Cameron's dad, so his full inheritance was sitting in Panama. So that's exactly, it's like one rule for us and another rule for them. Ultimately, that is where it goes. We'll take it. Do you want to go into a lighter subject?
Because I'm going to end up flipping
smashing
this table.
Flipping the fucking desk. Don't know if this is going to. So, what do you reckon about recent sort of things that's been going on at Parkgate?
I was talking about this today, actually. Here's another wee.
Don't get too angry.
I'm allowed to plug Celtic Fans TV.
You want, mate, aye.
I did an interview for Celtic Fans TV the day, just a wee. I think they're speaking to loads of people. Preview the game coming up, and we were talking about it, and I was saying that I'm glad Rodgers is away. I'm glad he's gone now. Knowing what I know now, if I had known that before, I'd have wanted him to leave.
100% on. Go in the summer, off you fuck.
I know, get yourself to fuck. And all lies. I don't know if people know this, and I might be saying this and I've maybe got it wrong, but I have heard that his book launch, Eamon Holmes was like, what's your favourite ever Celtic game? And he went, the 1988 centenary final, what a special day in the history of this club, 100-year anniversary. And he went, when Frank McGarvey dived and headed that ball into the net, and you're like, that was the 1985 cup final,
the right year. Same scoreline and shit.
You're talking about. So
he's full of
you
shit.
Don't know what you're talking about. The Danny McGrain story, how embarrassing was that?
Mate, see, as soon as I read that, I was like, that's it. Like, that summed them up.
I know. And it's funny because see, at the time, I was like, that's brilliant. That kind of thought, that's amazing. At the time. And see, now looking back, I'm like, how fucking dare you, man? That's Danny McGrain. King of Celtic.
Kind of reminded me of the Martin O'Neill, Tommy Burns story where, like, Tommy Burns had been brought. I think Tommy Burns was managing the reserves or the under 17s at the time. And when Martin O'Neill joined, I think he put himself forward to just show him around the city. And then by the time they got to the end of showing around the city, he was like, I want you to be on the coaching staff or whatever. Maybe it was Stratton. Might have been Stratton. I think it was Stratton. And he was like his liaison to the club for the first 4 weeks. And at the end, Stratton was like, I want you to be on my coaching staff. So you're like, he's literally copied and pasted something to do with Tommy Burns, changed the name, gave it a different sort of slant, and then just shat it out there.
See that? Do I want you here, Danny? You're the reason I'm here. Shut your mouth, you fucking...
Did you see the photo of him at the cremation of the fucking owner? Like, he was at like some sort of either...
The Thai owner?
Aye, they went to Thailand.
Where they're on their knees and all that.
And he's standing with a big fucking smile on his face.
Aye.
You're like, how about you keep it appropriate?
But a sombre occasion, mate. Like,
I mean, that first interview that he did for Leicester City TV where he was like, I'll give my life to make this Leicester City fans proud. It was literally like...
Copy and
paste that and just put Celtic, and that is exactly what it
he said some player lost his father, and he said, I hope I can be a father figure to him and take a wee bit of that thing. And maybe that could have been misreported, right, or misquoted. But mate, shut up. Like, shut up.
He played heavy on the emotional ties. He did.
See, did you watch the live stream of his first press conference? Leicester City streamed it on Twitter, and you could comment on it and all that.
I didn't see it.
No, I missed that.
People giving it pure abuse.
I can imagine though.
But I was saying, so I like people were saying like some mental stuff, right? And they're arguing with Leicester fans, and I think, what did I say? I think I said, you might be in the Premier League, but I bet you're not in the top 10 for the match day pie experience or like something like that.
Right.
And they were going mental saying, how do you know about our food standards now? So I was like, oh, so I think we've got some people that are going to absolutely snap and bite here. I was saying, like, I hope he breaks down on the motorway and the RAC can't get to him for 5 hours after this and all that. And they're like, people pure snapping as if I was being serious. Like, that's the worst I hope happens to him. He breaks down. The RAC can't get him.
But you happy with Lenny?
yes and no. I think at this point he'd be the best person to take the job.
Yep.
I said maybe his emotional volatility might come back to kind of bite us. Although he said he's mellowed somewhat, which you can maybe believe. I don't know. I think he's the best person to take over at this stage.
I mean, we're lucky that we even had somebody of that calibre waiting in the wings to take it.
He probably knew, to be honest, because Alan McAnally told somebody, a guy, Paul John Dykes, he does a podcast, A Celtic State of Mind, and he told him like back in December or January or something, he's like, oh, by the way, Brendan Rodgers probably taking the Leicester job. And they never really said anything about it at the time. So Lennon probably knew that would be happening. He would have had an idea because the club would have known about it. But to answer that, I'd say fairly happy. He's delivered the results apart from what we drew against Aberdeen. What was the other one?
That was it.
Aye, that was it. Do you know what it was? I keep thinking Dundee was a loss.
Yeah.
Because I never saw it because I was out the night before and I was in a bad state. So I only saw the score. I suppose he's a bit. When we look back, we're not seeing next year, or if we get 10 in a row, we're not going to go, I get 10 in a row, but do you remember the last 10 games when we were doing 8?
Probably no, man.
Sometimes we've been spoiled with amazing football for the past 2 years. I wouldn't count this season because we were terrible at the start of the season. Yeah. Remember losing to
we did not have a great
losing to Hearts and stuff, and we lost away to Kilmarnock. So this season hasn't been great, but that's champions. So if you're looking at it and saying out of 8, only one of those seasons has been a wee bit below satisfactory, and we've had a great run. We've won the game. By the way, see if we could get a last minute winner every time. I would take that over a 5-0. See that acceleration against Hearts, against Kilmarnock at Rugby
Park. It forces the team to kick on when they find themselves in that situation again, because they're going, we're up against it here, but we've done it twice in recent weeks, because that belief's just there.
I think that will reinforce that belief as well. Time and time again, we keep going because we get it. Sometimes teams will throw the towel in. I think Celtic's been renowned for the whole time I've been watching anyway, for about 24 years, as being we always seem to get it. Remember under Gordon Strachan, we just seem to keep going.
I was going to say, man, like I can remember like a point under Strachan
was notorious for it.
Third year, that year where we beat Rangers at 2-1
on
Wednesday night.
Big Jan, one of the best nights of my life.
I was behind the goal that night. It was wild.
That season in particular, it was ridiculous amount of times. It was Nakamura's last minute goal, Kilmarnock and stuff like that. So under Strachan, definitely go.
Do you remember we did it twice against Hearts? I remember Hearts were beating us 1-0 and Craig Gordon was in goals at Celtic Park, and he kept putting the ball in the 6-yard box, or the 6-yard line, and then he would move it for his goal kick. And I remember like feeling as if I was spitting actual blood. I was raging. And he made an arse of it twice. I'm sure it was at two corners. He dropped one in the net.
Yeah, I think Big Bobo Baldi headed the ball straight at him, and he just
we beat him 2-1. And then there was New Year's Day 2006,
3-0 down.
2-0 down.
2-0 down.
And I'm sure it was McManus maybe equalised, or Stephen.
I think McManus scored 2.
Because Stephen Pearson get one, and then McManus. I'm sure one came for a free kick with McManus with a header, and maybe the other was a corner. But again, winning that last minute.
Seeing Levine's face, that honestly,
it was beautiful, wasn't it?
I considered cracking one out twice. that gift. Just
I'd done it twice before the final whistle went. We scored it in the 93rd minute.
His pain is delicious, to be fair.
Oh, absolutely amazing.
Going back to the sort of the Lenny thing, the thing that concerns me watching, I love Simon Ferry's podcast. It's not really a fucking podcast, but it's interviewing the open goals. It's brilliant.
That's a good night.
A lot of people that are talking about Lenny talk about Gary Parker and how Gary Parker's the guy in the dressing room. So Lenny go in and fucking fuck the place up. You're fucking shite, you're shite. Leave, and then Gary Parker would go, right, settle down and talk to them and go, right, this is what we need to do next time.
Good call,
and that's what's concerning me is that he doesn't have his assistant, and that he's got a good team. I mean, John Kennedy, but I don't know, man. I think a lot of the time, if you look at guys like Clough, obviously I'm not saying that fucking Neil Lennon's anywhere near the stature of like Brian Clough, but even Steen, these guys relied on their assistant managers quite heavily. That's
the thing that concerns me now. So I'm counting it as this league is wrapped up. So it's the next two. See, when we had to stop the 10, and Fergus McCann said the only thing I've got to say about who we're appoint manager is he's not to be British, because he felt it's a lot of pressure and he could be impacted by that. So obviously having a foreign manager is he's not going to be as privy or as susceptible to that pressure, because it's unlikely he's reading the fucking Daily Record, is he? And you know, it's unlikely
Keith
that
Jackson's not having playing mind games with
so the kind of point I'm making is a lot of pressure. It's a big ask, because it's going to be the toughest now, because they've flung everything at us. You know, other teams, I'll not get into sort of conspiratorial things, but there's various elements that are throwing everything in the kitchen sink at stopping us doing 9 and 10.
Absolutely terrified.
Because it's over. It's never been better. That's never been. Nobody's done 11 in a row.
Months, I've just noticed how much teams just sit behind the ball. This is something that I was going to ask about a wee minute ago when you were talking about the Dundee thing. I watched that game on the telly, and we should have been 3 or 4 nothing up in the first 15 minutes, and there's this section of the Celtic support that just pishes the bed. That just anytime we don't win 4-5 nothing, they're just like, we're shite. He's shite. You're like, Scott Brown surely has proved to that section of Celtic support that you shouldn't write a player off on like a bad season or a bad game. But I don't get why there's this like, oh, this isn't good enough, and you're like, we won the fucking game, like you're saying. I don't remember back to the 90s and remember Rangers fans sitting going, Laudrup's fucking pish. I mean, people literally sit and tear into Scott Sinclair. Yeah. And the guy's probably one of our best players. Like, if being realistic, statistically, he's one of our best players. I don't remember that coming through their side. I think there's an element of our support that's waiting to implode. Almost just sitting, waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck that comes from.
I think it's just maybe part of the whole. There is a younger generation of fans that have never known any sort of meaningful defeat. You know what I mean? Like, and it becomes expectation. You know what I mean?
Think so. I think we've become a wee bit spoiled. Because I get frustrated with that when there's all these chances and we don't take them. But I sometimes remind myself, like, they're human, they're going to miss. The thing is, we're creating them.
That's it. That's exactly it.
If we're creating those chances and we are sort of dictating the play, the tempo, the game, and how it's going, we've got the majority of the ball. You know, it is up to us, because teams are always going to sit back. No matter who we play domestically, they're always going to sit back, and it's up to us to unlock them and to be good enough. There's going to be periods. See, if we look at it over since Brendan came in May, June 2016, from then until recently, we've been playing brilliant football, scoring a lot of goals, winning games comfortably. It's a very small period, and which is also a period of disruption. Because you look at the Aberdeen game, you look at that on the surface, we drew 0-0. But, in the last 10 minutes, a couple of,
goalkeeper made 3 or 4 great saves.
Tierney put a ball across, and Edward should have got to it. We had Christopher Ayer's goal ruled offside. The game is often a lot more than what the scoreline suggests.
Yeah.
They also played like man for man, like wrestling tactics, like across the pitch for 90 minutes, and we were missing McGregor, Rogic, and Christie.
I think people we always fail to take into account as well is Celtic played well, but the other team is also capable of playing well.
Absolutely.
And they're fight every game that Celtic. I always say this to English players, like, it's a fucking 10-pot league, mate. My fucking 9 could score up there. Right, no bother, mate. It's pure easy. And I say, well, every single team that plays Celtic, it's their chance to get noticed. It's a cup final. They're up for it. They're fired up. They either support Celtic and they want to impress, or they support Rangers and they hate us and want to be the one to stop us. Everybody's up for it. So they're usually always at 100%. So, now and again we're going to draw.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should be critical and we should look at what's happening.
100%.
But I would say let them
I don't
off
think I've ever seen a team win a game against Celtic and any majority of Celtic fans come out and go, I mean, Paris Saint-Germain.
You were banging your rights there, weren't you?
You know what I mean? They're like, we're fucking pish. And you're like, right, come on, guys, can we calm down a wee bit, man? Like, we're going to get fucking pumped half these teams.
A £600 million football team's probably going to beat us. So, like, in terms of like football wider, obviously spend a lot of time, you were saying, in Spain, running about Barcelona.
In Barcelona.
City centre, so is it Barcelona the team you follow there? Are you into some American local teams? Is it?
I played for a team called Michael Collins FC.
Okay, there was me casually trying to steer it away from
I know.
Celtic.
No, let's take it back in. Let's take it back in. Green and white.
Sure.
There's a really good setup over there. It's called the Biffle, the Barcelona International Football League.
Right.
And by the way, the standard is unbelievable. There was a boy that played for Michael Collins. He left before I got there, and he fucking signed for Ajax. He was over studying, and he was on a, I don't even know what age he was. His name was Just something, right? And I've seen highlights of him. The boy is unbelievable. So basically, he was over studying, and he signed for he played for the Collins. I don't know how. I think somebody in his uni course played for him, and he went. And they said the boy was like unbelievable, and he signed for Ajax. He was playing in the reserves. I think that was in 2016. So I was like, "Fuck off, no way!" And my pal showed me it. Like, here he is playing for the actual Ajax. But that was really good because you've got people for all over. There's a really interesting one. There's a guy called Andy Mitten, who's a journalist, and he had a team called FC Manchester. So he started up a fanzine called United We Stand,
right,
which is the biggest Man U fanzine. Started in the 90s, the early 90s, I think, maybe late 80s. And he came over to Barcelona. He was working as a journalist. His pals were like Graham Hunter and all that.
Okay.
And he did stuff for, I think, for like ESPN and 442 and stuff. He's really good pals with like Ryan Gigg, the class of 92.
Okay.
Right, cool.
So they all had like full Man
Handy
United.
when you've got a Man United magazine to write into it. You know the class of
I
92.
know. But he's I don't know how he did it, but he also had like a fucking direct line to people like Puyol and Xavi and Iniesta and all that. He's really, really well connected. So there was that team. Basically, people follow because there's a lot of immigrants, there's a lot of foreigners in Barcelona. So that was really, really good.
How's it? Why is it full of immigrants?
Barcelona. Fuck knows, because it's class, mate. Have you been? Like, that's literally why it's roasting.
I went to Barcelona on a fucking school trip in the 90s, mate. And that,
different. For one of the main ports in Spain, and
different
obviously
place.
pretty close to like North Africa and places like that. You know what I mean?
That side is one of the best cities in the world. I've lived there since 2013, and I've been here for the past 4 months or something. About 4 or 5 months. I decided to come back for a bit. And It's been magic.
You just get sick of the sun and all that,
and it's shite. And I've been on rooftops all the time.
You know what I mean?
No, it's an incredible place to be. But Barcelona. So I growing up, I was always a Barca fan. And really genuinely, every year I would get Celtic strips, all my Celtic strips, and my Barca strips. Barca tracky, I loved them. Went to the game. So a guy I worked with, his uncle was an ex-goalkeeper at Barca, and played in the Champions League winning squad in '92.
Okay.
I think he was a backup goalie, but he was there for years. You know how sometimes you get a backup there for like 15 years.
Aye, salute skill.
Aye. And he had a box. So my mate's like, "I'll take you and we'll go in the box." So I'm like, oh my God, I'd only been there a week. Couldn't wait. We go in, you've got a waiter, free bar. The box we had was like 6 wee seats, so it was a wee private thing behind the goals. Amazing. Sat down, and then that was it, the end of the love affair, because their fans are the shitest fans, the worst fans I have ever encountered. A lot of them are tourists, so I'll make that exception. They were playing Real Valladolid, and they won 4-1, and something happened, and it was a penalty.
Yeah.
So I've jumped up and went like, penalty, like shouted, and about 10 people turned around and went, shh.
As if I beat then.
And I was like, oh fuck, sorry, we're in the oh no, we're in the new camp. I thought we were in the pictures there. And I went to another game, and to prove I'm not making this up, so this was against Las Palmas, and they won 2-0, and Messi, I sat down, I was like, I'm going to just watch. I was talking about it for about 4 days. I'm like, I'm not even going to watch the game, I'm just going to watch Messi, what he does. 5 minutes in, he does his knee ligaments, man. He's out for like 8 months, so he's off. There was a guy reading the paper.
What the
I swear to God, he was reading the paper, and so we were like goal north, which is like behind the goal in the corner, and he's reading the paper during the game. I'm like full scale, like this.
That's crazy,
man. Now and again he would look up,
mental.
And he only looked up when they started the independence chants, and I think a lot of them go for
right.
I think they go as it's a political thing. It's not football. Right. It's fair enough. They can do what they want, but I'm just no into them at all. They're very entitled as well. I know people say that a bit like irony coming from a Celtic supporter, but
and we used to winning.
Aye, that's
you know what I mean.
And
the English Premier League's getting like that as well, isn't it, man? You're looking at. I was watching a game. Was it the West Ham game last week? They came back for 3-0 down and won 4-3.
Yeah,
and they scored a last minute winner, and they were celebrating.
Aye, really kind of
it was
each year.
So like Celtic scoring their 4th, and like, do you know what I mean?
Against
like,
Hamilton
just
or
jumping
something.
up and like, yes, do you know what I mean? Nothing.
It's
There's
shite,
thinking about like some of the scenes that you've seen at Celtic Park where cunts are fucking fawning the tap at each other. And
I think Scottish football in general is really well supported, man. It's like, I think we're one of the sort of highest per capita attendances in Europe, you know what I mean? Like, and there's a good scene amongst the fans generally. I mean, I love seeing the tweets where it's pure, they do the comparisons with English League, where it's, you know, the Manchester derby and people are taking photos with like Wayne's in the dugout and all the rest. And it's pure like the Dundee derby, and it's just like pure bodies everywhere. And that's what it's about, man.
Like St Mirren and Morton is a lot more intense, because I remember seeing when Mourinho was Man U manager, and he's got in the box at Anfield at the dugout, and the Liverpool fans are taking pictures of him. And it's embarrassing. I honestly don't pay attention. See, up until 2012, maybe 13 at a push, my knowledge of lineups, teams, scores, matches of English football was encyclopedic.
Yeah,
because it was brilliant, and I don't know what it was just then. I just was like, this is thing me. Even now, like if Man U are playing, I'll look at the lineup and I'll be like, I don't know like six of these names. If I had said that to myself when I was 15, by the way, you won't know who these are. I would have.
You weren't even a Man United fan, and Ferguson had the type of team together that you can name every single one of them.
I can name every single.
Deep.
I can name their strengths. I knew who came on as a sub. I can even just daft things like I remember when Ronaldo made his debut. Ryan Giggs scored a free kick against Bolton. It was Beckham's first game, and they came on. I think they won 4-0 opening game. So that was been 2003. Aye. No, it just doesn't interest me.
Nah,
Scottish football or nothing for me.
Aye, I'm the same. I've kind of got myself. I found myself in recent years, as I went to obviously more and more of the games, having like a random Tuesday night where I would be flicking through the telly and be like, why the fuck am I watching Stoke and Crystal Palace on a Tuesday night? Like two teams just launching long balls back and forth at each other, and it just become more and more. And I think the money incentive in the Premier League is so like forcing negative football in a lot of respects. I know Man City are trying to play at Arsenal with spells where they try to play, but like largely speaking, English teams in the league are just trying not to get beat and seeing where they land at the end of the season, because outside that top 6, any of the bottom 14 could get relegated on any given year for me. And I'm now finding myself, instead of watching bloody Stoke and West Brom or whatever it happens to be, finding myself watching like BBC Alba and going like, if I've got a choice between an English game or a Scottish game, fire the Scottish game on. So I much prefer it.
I just don't see the appeal. Obviously, we've got a lot of technically able, gifted players.
Yeah,
and it's far superior, but I don't think football
it was so pishy, wouldn't they be stealing all our players and our managers for 40 years?
I know. I know.
Like, the entire English League pyramid is built on Scottish players and managers.
The Championship's quite decent. I watched a couple of Championship games. Aye, it is.
So it is.
But for me, that's the whole thing. Like, I don't judge the quality of it purely on how good technically the players are. You know, there's obviously a lot more to it. And even just as you say, with was it Man City at the Champions League, they're scoring, it's just like a wee clap and all that, they can't fill the stadium. And I'm not being ignorant or dismissive to the fact that it's expensive.
Yeah.
But
that's part of the problem, but
aye,
that's a huge part of the problem.
Germany's part of the problem in
the
Manchester
atmosphere
as
in
well.
German football is
they've got it right, don't they?
Man United have been so successful for so long and built such a big stadium that is there space in Manchester for 240,000 plus seater stadiums? I don't know.
That's a good point. Well, the Man City fans are always claiming that Manchester's blue.
Yep.
Can't fill your stadium yet. Man United can.
Yeah.
So
I think they had more fans gone when they were in the Championship, like try to come through and come back up. Like,
I know, like
then and what they do now.
It's one of the things that people say, like, oh, it was better in the past, when really it wasn't. It was quite inferior. Whatever you're talking about, but in this instance, I would say football it had more soul. And I don't mean to sound like a football hipster, or like, you know, I won't claim to be loads about the Bundesliga or that. And you know, people will go, aye, well, in Germany and this wouldn't happen. But
yeah,
I went to a game. I went to the Olympic Stadium in Berlin to see Hertha Berlin against Cologne. And the entire experience, so the fans were amazing. Stadium wasn't full. That's a massive stadium, right enough. The stadium wasn't full, but the fans were incredible from start to finish, to the point where I was watching them, and the Cologne fans were beside us, and it was nuts. It was mental.
They do things like they have, it's like the American sports where people are actually fans, where they have like barbecues outside in the car park before they go in and stuff like that.
We had that.
Going there hours before the game.
We went a couple of hours before, and we went to this outdoor place, and they were cooking big steaks on a barbecue. Awesome. It's like €3. You get a beer for like €2. Even on your seat, they'll just bring beer to your seat.
That's what it's
That
all
was
about.
magic. All you need to do is just wave and they'll come and bring you.
I mean,
What's even that deal?
Talking about off mic about the Paul Quigley podcast, like we are literally treated like fucking criminals.
Aye.
And people are going to like other sports,
Patronised
and
like
football,
children.
you know what I mean? I know why, because like the reason the Celtic Rangers riot in the 80s that happened, why we're not allowed to drink at football.
It's 30
How
fucking
can we
years
not
ago.
go over that
Aye,
now?
I know.
I mean, how the fuck can we not go
Wait a
over that?
minute. When was that? The 1980 Cup
I think
final?
it was the 80
so
Cup
that was
final.
that no 40 years ago then?
Aye,
next
nearly,
year?
aye.
Aye, next year it'll be 40 years. And yet you can go 3 hours down the road to Newcastle and other people that vastly fucking different.
No,
between
the
Glasgow and Newcastle.
The Liverpool fans now welcome visiting teams when the team bus comes in. And they pelt it with bricks and all that. I'm sure something happened at a Manchester derby as well.
Yeah.
Nothing really happens. There's these isolated incidents. I mean, I'm not going to get into it because I've got my opinions and all that, but I'm not really clued up enough or
There's a
well versed enough. I'm not well versed enough to be speaking on it. It's obviously there's the whole sectarian element, which what they say they're trying to tackle, even though all they've done is probably make things worse.
Aye.
Because people then react in a sort of what's the word? Like sort of just reacting the same way. If you're going to tell me I can't do this, actually,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
I think that the sort of conversation about policing is getting wild outside of Scotland as well. I mean, you look at the Jack Grealish thing. We were actually sitting down with Paul the other week there, and as he put his arse in the chair, I was like, some guys just hooked Jack Grealish. More literally. So, but it was too in the moment to really get into it. But I seen like legitimate quotes for people after that going, police should be armed, and you're like, so what? We're going to give every copper in England a gun in case somebody tries to go on a football pitch. You know what I mean? Like,
Because that works well.
I think it's just about the, authoritarianism that's sort of seeping in for the ground up and everything. You know what I mean? Like, as much as there's issues specific to Scotland, I think football fans, they get treated with a level of contempt all across the UK.
Aye.
They speak to you like pure scumbags. See that crush at Celtic Park?
Yeah.
Big Matt was on that, wasn't you?
My pals get caught in it. I was lucky because I was in the family section behind the dugout. My pals were caught in it and I didn't understand. And they were that riled up and shaken by it that even though we won, even though it was brilliant, we went to the pub and they were like, I'm not coming, I'm going up the road. Because they were petrified.
Just ruined.
Yep.
Ruined it. They're lucky that people never died. Because as far as I'm aware, everybody was just piling around, they've shut the gates. And it felt as if they were just saying, fuck them, don't tell them. Because then obviously everybody's getting up and the first wave of people, they're going, turn back. The fuck do you mean turn back?
Yeah.
There's about 40,000 people under here.
At my fucking back.
I know.
Yeah,
And they don't know that this is shut, so they're walking. They're lucky. Somebody should be getting jailed for that.
Aye. God knows what's went on. I mean, surely there'd have been some sort of fucking inquiry into that shit.
The question I've got is where. I know it's coming. You say coming from the top down. So I've got pals that are police officers that are big Celtic fans that work at Celtic Park all the time.
Yeah.
And they think it's ridiculous, but they're kind of told to follow orders or whatever. And I know they're all responsible. You know, they've all got the choice not to speak to people like scumbags or whatever. But what is the MO like? Where is that coming from? Like, what is the aim?
I don't know, man. It's always baffled me. And as I say, as we look at the other examples elsewhere as well, it's no an uncommon trend. I think it's just easy to like. I think it's been something that's been there since the 80s. You know what I mean? Like in Hillsborough and various other incidents, like where it's just all right for the media to look down its nose at football fans and other people just
I
follow
think
suit.
it's went side by side with the targeting of working class people. I think that's during the 80s when they targeted the coal miners, football fans were a way for people to sort of come together and organise. If they've got the football, they're talking about things, and then the groups come out of that. And so it's just another way of breaking down a way for people to have a fucking voice. I mean, all this pish that you get about politics and football don't mix. Fuck you.
Aye, like, they've always mixed.
They've always fucking mixed.
I know, they've always mixed. You don't want them to mix.
Yeah.
But they do mix. They're inextricably linked. And
I love how
you're not changing
FIFA, fining X club and Y club about this flag and that banner and, Pep Guardiola Catalan yellow ribbon and stuff like that. And then, and rightfully so, every organisation should have lauded the guy, but Nelson Mandela dies and all of a sudden FIFA are pure, let's talk about the politics of Nelson Mandela. And you're like, you've just fined like 3 different organisations under your rule for getting political. And now you're like, let's get into politics.
Reprehensible, deplorable organisation.
FIFA are one of
the full of scumbags.
The biggest funders at Interpol.
And
if you look at what the way the World Cups work, if you watch the fucking World Cup in Russia, it's literally Putin is sitting with all the leaders of the world coming in, shaking hands. Gives them an hour and a half to sit and talk about what the fuck they're going to be doing next. Surely, do you know what I mean? Surprise, surprise, the British government weren't invited to Russia, do you know what I mean? Like,
Were they not?
No, Boris Johnson didn't go and sit with Putin.
See how much a hard man he is when he goes to Russia, how much a wido he is, eh? Your man stupid comments.
You know what I mean?
I could have lived with Boris Johnson end up in the gulag, to be fair.
I thought you were going to say
Probably
being
the best
Prime
place
Minister
for him.
there.
No, absolutely not.
There was something I was going to... did somebody get stabbed at a poetry event like the other day? A poetry event.
Sorry, I'm laughing at that one. That's brilliant.
I know.
There was... I remember seeing a clip of Scottish rugby fans in Italy, I'm sure, singing Fuck the Pope and singing the sash.
Yeah.
So where was the condemnation of rugby fans of being unacceptable? It's
totally a perception thing.
I'm going to throw this a total other way. Say when we become independent, would you vote SNP once we were an independent nation?
They would have to... It would be like a blank slate. They would have to convince me to vote for them.
Definitely.
I wouldn't be like I'm right now, where it's my default vote. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just because I want independence.
Absolutely.
But I don't think I would. I don't think.
No, automatically anyway.
What's disappointed me recently about the SNP and Corbyn is almost like everybody is playing this political game of chess. Nobody's actually doing what's best for normal people. It's almost like, here's the goal, we'll do anything to get to it. Like, the SNP have absolutely been able to do more to offset austerity in this country. 100%.
At least in terms of how they've tried to fight it.
And also just the fact stuff. I mean,
that's for me is the black mark against them. And I wouldn't then say, once we're independent, you're not getting my vote, because I'm proud of a lot of the things they've done.
Absolutely.
And they're my
100%,
default vote. I wouldn't vote Labour. I do know I'm saying that. I've got a high-ranking Labour MP coming on to the podcast.
Oh,
so
really?
if he's listening, I'm telling him I'd never vote for him.
Maybe
Maybe
he'll change your mind.
I doubt that. He's a great guy. I'm really looking forward to having him on. But
Cool.
not getting my vote. Nah, no thank you.
I kind of more like, obviously, in terms of Westminster, obviously vote SNP. In terms of Scotland, like I'm obviously kind of like case by case, let's say. I have voted SNP, but where the option's been available, which is increasingly more the case, I've voted Green. But I'm pro-independence in that respect. And I think after the fact, I think I'd probably try and operate along similar kind of lines where if they're talking to me in terms that I think are useful to us and will make an impact, then I'll go with them. But I would hope that, the other side of a yes vote, that we get a realignment of maybe things like the Labour movement and whatnot. Conservatives. I mean, there is a place in political debate for conservatism to a degree, but no in terms of like Conservative and Unionist Party, because why would we need that afterwards? You know what I mean? Like, so you would maybe have some sort of centre-right, Conservative party that might actually want to make a positive contribution to Scotland. Who knows?
Has it been decided? I know that they said 2019 there'll be an announcement, but for the next referendum.
I think this sort of Brexit shambles has got all bets off at the minute. So it's just a total clusterfuck.
Don't get the extension and we don't revoke Article 50 and we leave without a deal on the 29th of March, I've got a feeling that they'll just declare it.
We could be getting punted without a deal on Friday.
Legally, I mean, that thing came out a couple of weeks ago with a guy that's the lawyer, basically. He's an MP, but he's a lawyer, but he's the Tories' lawyer, stood up and said that if the Constitution changes in any way, then a treaty you can just walk away from a treaty, so they can't hold us to the Treaty of the Union. So if they leave without a deal, which we've been promised wouldn't happen, then Nicola Sturgeon could literally declare independence.
Was that the
on
guy,
a legal term.
Is that the guy who said he was never been more ashamed to be a Conservative that stood up?
No,
Who was that?
No.
Dominic Grieve. See that? I saw that headline and I thought, okay, so you're a man of some sort of morals. Like, how the fuck has it took you this long to make that statement?
So you're all right.
You're all right. Everything else is cool.
Yep, you're all right with Islamophobia. You're all right with disabled people committing suicide because of your policies. But see, as soon as this party can't fucking get a vote together to agree how we're going to leave the
EU,
when
I'm ashamed.
He was like teary and shit, so he was like, he's like, we kind of get our shit together.
What side is he? Does he sit on? But is he a Brexiter or is he?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I've got to assume that he's been involved. I mean, they're all switched back and forth. Even God, Theresa May has been back and forth on the issue. You know what I mean?
Like, I don't want to just add, this is white noise, any conversation about Brexit. I fucking hate the word Brexit, how tabloidy it is. But any conversation, it is white noise because it's all been said, but I don't think it'll happen. And I never did at the time. And I just feel that, I always felt, surely there's some argument to take this to some higher court to be like, here, by the way, surely this vote is null and void. Because that's like, say I say to you, no, you've got two choices.
Yep.
You can go through that door or you can go through that door. In that door, there is 2 page 3 models. There's loads of beer and there's £1 million and there's all these brilliant things. And then you walk through and there's a tiger and it just kicks fuck at you. Right? And I think that's the technical term for when a tiger attacks you. You would then come to me and be like, hold on a minute.
Aye.
And I'm like, no, you went through. You're like, aye, because you gave me information that was so far from the truth that I went through there.
Yep.
Or that I was, say you open the door and then you go and I'm like, you change your mind. And I'm going, no, you need to go through, you decided.
There's a tiger in there.
I know, mate, there's an actual tiger in there, a jungle cat.
And you're like, no, on you go, this is what you wanted.
I know, and it's like, well, I never, I thought I was going for something else.
Aye.
So, I just don't understand how they can't turn and go, that's fucking null and void.
It was an advisory referendum to start off with, so nothing was legally binding. That's all just rhetoric, man. That's all just Jacob Rees-Mogg. I mean, there's a video of him going back to 2016 where he said, listen, there's nothing to lose to vote Brexit because if you vote for it, we can always just no do it. And now he's gone, it's undemocratic, you're risking our democracy. Him. It's all just political game playing, man. Like,
let's talk about Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Did you see his son?
Is he as much a creepy looking cunt as he is?
Yep.
Man.
Exactly.
Oh wait, I saw a picture of him.
The same suit on and all that, man.
I saw a picture of them on the Empire State Building. And they looked as if they just quantum leaped for like a Victorian garden party for like 19 whatever.
I'm sure I told this on the podcast when I read it, but did you read when he got asked what's the best Christmas present at Christmas? He got asked at Christmas time, what's your favourite Christmas gift? And he said that when he was 13, his mother gave him an ointment that had some sort of oil for Queen Victoria's coronation. That's the best Christmas gift. It's like, I can kind of understand why he is the way he is.
What has happened to him at boarding school, and I'm not trivialising anything terrible that's happened to people, but I genuinely wonder, I'm like, dude, he's get
Did we have somebody and did we not have somebody on who described him as a haunted Muppet? Was that
a haunted Muppet? I'm going to try and pass that part off as my own. That's amazing. He's
fucking that.
Why is he? He goes, no. I saw him talking about why somebody asked him why the politicians are shouting at each other the way they do in Westminster, and he goes, you've got to do it with a bit of verve. It's theatrical. That makes me want to self-harm. His voice. I despise him, and he's made about £7 million off the back of this.
Yeah, man, he shifted a lot of money offshore as well recently, and and when he was questioned about it, he was basically balls out. Like, this is the only thing that I admire about somebody like him. I've got a very little that I admire, but he's balls out. I mean, he got asked on the BBC, and he was basically, it's none of your business. And they're like, no, but you've moved money. Like, do you want to explain? He was like, it's none of your business what I've done with my money.
No, I don't have any respect for that whatsoever.
The only thread of respect that I've got is that the guy can actually walk the street and look people in the eye and just I just don't understand how. Because that is blatant. That is blatant lying, isn't it? Like, there are, like you were saying, you've got friends that are in the police force, and when I was thinking about that, I was thinking about just in any job, there's compartmentalisation that happens for the top down. Mm-hmm. So the top tell you what you need to know so that you can go and deliver the message to get the job done, right? But guys like him, they know. They're inside. Mm-hmm. They know what this is going to do. And they are still just giving it, this is for the good of the country, this is for the good of the country.
See, for a nation, or a group of nations like the UK, which can be so judgmental on such superficial things. Now, I don't understand how, take all his lies and all that aside, how people have taken one look and went, this guy seems trustworthy. He looks like a child catcher. This is one of the comments that can, now I'm talking about say things that get you cancelled. I would rather leave my kids with the McCanns than him. I mean that he is a creepy.
He really is, man.
His eyes are haunted.
He's definitely been shagging his fucking nanny or something, man. When he's like something fucked
breastfed
up.
by the wet nurse until
exactly.
he was 14.
Fucking Little Britain. It's like a Little Britain character, isn't it, man? It's fucking.
It doesn't seem
honking.
real.
No, it doesn't seem real.
Like, and what is it then?
None of them do, but Dave.
What is it that Dave and Vera for Wigan that vote leave see in this guy? Like, there's an affinity between us. There is not, like,
well,
even pissing you if you're on fire.
I've thought about this, man. Like, I've got a very, very limited education in mental health,
right.
And like getting right deep into like mental health. Like, there is 3 states that you can be in as like an adult. One of them is an adult where you think for yourself, and so you can use logic. The other one is child, where when you don't have the intellect to make decisions, you go into this child mode, and if somebody that reminds you of something for your childhood, either your mum, your dad, or a school teacher, where this is where I think this fucking comes from, you will just accept it. Because you're literally inside your head going, I don't know better than this person must know better than me.
He must silhouette an authority figure or something.
Because he's wearing that tie on a Saturday.
And he speaks the way he speaks. It's all deliberate. None of it's by chance. It's all like very, very well rehearsed, and he knows what he's doing. Like, this is what's, again, these people that are on the inside, like, it's so fucked up, but they stand to make so much money.
That is what it all comes down to, innit? In the end, it's because they'll make a load of money off it.
The upper class in this country will make so much fucking money, it's unbelievable. They'll literally, like, reshape industry in the country, like, whether or not we end up with, like, India, China style slave labour, I don't know. But it is a potential in the roadmap, because they will take away our workers' rights, because that is all in the EU human rights code.
That is a shop that launders money. That's the entire future of the UK. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't wait for us to become independent for this mess. I feel bad for decent English people. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, see, as a country, that's what you decided on, so you're going to need to live with that. But we never.
No.
We never. The guy, I always get his name wrong. Guy, is it Verhofstadt? I've pronounced that horrendously.
Guy Verstoven or whatever it is, the EU dude.
I have you say that, and he's also part of the committee, which he's Belgian, I think, and he's an EU legislator. Maybe I've got that wrong, but I think
he's been pretty heavily involved in the negotiations and stuff like that.
And he had said, he was asked outright, like, I think the reporter tried to get him to basically say, Scotland, can you join the EU? And they asked him, and he went, yep.
Absolutely.
And I've seen a clip with my own eyes and listened to it with my own ears, and he says, yep. And they go like, yeah, but would it not be difficult? And he goes, nope. What part of that? Nope. He's like, what part of that?
We're already fully compliant with EU law. It's not like other countries that need to actually bring themselves in line. We're already there.
Aye, I know. So, I think that he said, they said they would be looking to make that happen. Partly because Scotland's a great asset for the European Union. They contribute a lot. You know, both in terms of like socially, societally, but also economically.
And there was a report this week saying that Scotland's got something like 234 billion of untapped natural resources.
Fuck, remember they said it was running it.
Aye.
I think partly they say. I think partly is they were saying, and they said it in a far more. What's the word? I'm like, do you know? I forget words. I think this is a symptom of speaking other languages, because I just forget like basic words in a far more intelligent way. Anyway, he said it would just be to give one of them to England, to Westminster, to be like, fuck you.
Too right, man. I mean, we found out at the end of the last independence, like after the fact, Cameron had visited Shetland, and there's so many billion barrels of oil off the coast of Shetland, and that was all bullshit. Then it was the guy for the Bank of England, so of course you would have got the fucking pound. Are you crazy? Couldn't have done without it. And then EU came out and gone, we would have let them in as soon as they became independent. And yet we still get faced with Kay Burley sitting on Sky News going like, but you'll lose the pound.
Don't mansplain it.
Tell you what,
punched on
tell you what, mate. See your pound. Get it to fuck.
Like,
you don't want it.
You need to take a euro, and you're like, well, even if we did, which we don't, in probably about 6 or 7 days' time, the euro's going to be performing significantly better than the pound. You know what I mean?
I don't want to lose the pound because that's my heritage. Like that, the arguments that people have.
So nostalgic.
Nostalgia, like fucking fuck off then and go and live in some mad
commune. Like us, like during 2014, I just spent months just browbeating my family, just like my brother-in-law, my sister, just getting in at them, just like, what you voting? Sitting with my mom, and she was like, I need to vote no. And I literally like spent hours just every time I seen her, like, Mum, like, think about this, and try to hit her with like numbers, and I could just see just getting right to her head.
Yeah.
And I eventually resorted to saying to her, listen, it's a vote against the Tories. And she was just like, I'm voting yes. Say no more. Literally, like, Paul, you don't. I kept going. She was like, you don't need to convince me. See, as soon as you said it's the Tories that want us to stay as part of the union, so just vote against it. It's like voting against the Tories. She was pure awesome. High five. Get me down that vote right now.
She sounds brand new.
Just try that next time.
She's all right.
See, looking retrospectively, I can understand. See, anybody who didn't have any real emotional investment and they were looking at it purely for a numbers way, the argument for independence, even from a numbers perspective, was really engaging, really convincing. But so too, you know, the UK wasn't performing all that bad. I know we were in recession and stuff, but it was a global thing that everybody
at that
was,
point in time,
that everybody was kind of subject to. So looking back, I can kind of understand a wee bit. I'm trying my best.
Some people didn't want to rock the boat.
They just didn't want to rock the boat, and they thought, look, what is the point? And I remember after it, I actually flew back for Spain the day after the vote. So basically the day the result was announced. And it was horrible. It was a really horrible atmosphere. There was obviously fighting and stabbings in Buchanan Street. And, you know, they won the referendum. What would have happened if they had lost it? And
I think they would have been faced with so many people celebrating at George Square. They wouldn't have went anywhere fucking.
They would have went anywhere near it. That's true.
They're all fucking cowards. I think 200 people come off a London to Glasgow train. So apparently, it's the second that it was coming over the BBC, they voted no. People started to get on the trains and get up because they knew that there would be, well, their pals for Duke Street, and the guys that were talking like Chelsea connections with Rangers, they were all going, we're heading there, and it was all planned. I mean, they just walked along, met at both sides, and just fucking caught people in at George Square. It was mostly families. I mean, you were seeing
animals,
wee lassies and wee guys getting punched in the fucking face.
Yeah, I missed it.
I felt sick, man. I actually felt sick.
I couldn't look. I felt quite upset. I remember I landed at like midnight on the Friday, and I had a wee look on the Daily Record website or something on my phone, and I was just like, I can't look at this. But I did remember saying, and this is, I'm hardly like a political expert, like speaking like a professor here, but I remember saying at the time, all right, it never happened, but the idea or the ideology has now picked up speed, and these things, they don't often start to disintegrate or diminish. And I was like, that idea is going to continue to strengthen and grow. And I said, right, let's just look at if we had one. You're looking at a 50-50 split almost of the country. Now, say things didn't go particularly well, you'd had people saying, see, I fucking told you. And you'd had people who voted yes saying, maybe we've made a mistake. And I remember saying, right, we've got Tories, and I bet you we end up getting Tories again for another 5 years, which we did in 2015. It says, I bet you we end up leaving Europe. Now, let's let them create that environment for people who want to vote, because to vote yes to now have independence, because people now look, and I feel, you know, the UK has hung itself. They didn't need to do that. See, we vote and leave with Europe, with all that all that shambles, with, you know, the Tories, what the destruction they've caused over the last 4 years. I feel like the SNP and the Scottish Executive must just sit back and go, this is fucking brilliant, because they're doing all this for us. They're convincing everybody on their behalf.
I think we're polling at something like, estimates between 59 and 57% pro-independence at the minute.
Do you know another thing that has to be taken into consideration as well? You look at I think if they said if you removed the over 55s vote, then it was an overwhelming landslide yes. Yeah. Now, again, I'm not being, for anybody that would like to, you know, people like to pick on things you say. I'm not saying, yes, they're dead. But the reality is, a lot of those people that voted no will now be dead. Yeah. There is a high amount of them. Whereas
the issue we've got with that is that people traditionally become more conservative the older they get. And because demographics are changing, I think something like the next 10 years, the amount of like pensionable age population is going to nearly double. Because people are living longer, healthier lives and stuff like that.
They start tampering with it,
and this is like worldwide. I'm pretty sure the experts refer to it as like the grey tsunami, and it's basically like the elderly is about to, in the next 10 or so years, is literally going to double because of the way people are living.
Where those original sales are about to go through the roof.
Cashmere cardigans.
The thing I was going to say, right, so with them dying, and so not as many, right, but say they're dying, but the young voters, so you obviously can vote for 16, so people who were 11, and this is only speaking now in 2019, let's just say it doesn't happen until 2022 or something like that, you know, people that were 8, 9, 10, 11, are more likely to want to vote yes. Obviously, you get wee Jacob Rees-Mogg type weirdos that pure love Margaret Thatcher and the Crown and all that, and they're going to go whatever way.
I think victims.
Aye, but I think there's going to be this influx of voters that would really swing that, and obviously a lot of other people, they will see, all the people that did vote, they're seeing what's happened.
Yeah.
All the lies have become apparent.
Yeah.
I think now if you see the lies that came out from after the lead up to the independence referendum, and you see what's happened in the wake of the whole Brexit stuff, and all the Tory carry on, it was all the time. See if you are still don't want independence, you, my friend, are suffering from Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Because if there's no compelling reason for you to still be want to be a part of that.
It's going to be an absolute omni-shambles as it is at the moment. Why not have the ability to take control of your own destiny? Because they went, uncertainty, it's going to put you off and yada yada. And for people, it legitimately did, and I get why, as you say.
Aye.
But at this point, you're like, so we've either got a total clusterfuck that's been driven by London that we are absolutely going to suffer at the other side of, or we've got a total clusterfuck where we've got an actual chance to take control of where we land and how we get there and stuff like that. And I think as well as the demographic shift, like we've talked in other podcasts about things like universal basic income, automation. There's a shift, and we're at a point now where there has to be some sort of like almost like industrial revolution in terms of how people think, how we work, how we operate as a society as a whole. And I don't think these old ideas are colony and empire and the kind of toffs that you were talking about, the Rees-Moggs and the neoliberals that have driven a lot of this. Like, we need new ideas. We need to be able to think and act for ourselves and to kind of keep ourselves in line. Because if we've got these renewable sources, these natural resources that we've got, we need to be able to exploit them in the modern world. And right now, we're completely handcuffed in our ability to do that.
Literally, almost. Aye, I completely agree with every. All I can say to that is I completely agree. I would like to see I would like to say something a wee bit intelligent as well, but I don't have anything to input there other than
my man moment of clarity for the day.
Man.
By the way,
the only thing that you're saying, like the grey tsunami that's going to happen, a lot of these people are going to get affected by things like the retirement age getting pushed down the road. So they'll be also very discontent.
Your average pension is way below standard.
Oh, fuck, man. We were talking about this in the last episode, weren't we?
Yeah.
Is it not like double in Ireland or no far off it?
There's some silly figures get banded about elsewhere.
See the money they get.
Greece is one of the ones where you're like, we're told that place is on its knees and it's a shithole, and look at Greece as an excuse to
24 grand a year pension.
They've got a 24 grand a year pension.
Fuck that, man. See, when I hit 65, I'll be like dressed as one of the Greek dancers in the door office, like smashing plates and all that.
Have I stayed in Spain long enough to get a Spanish passport?
I know. Actually, I'm no far off it. 5 years, but it's really difficult. But technically, I could be. I think in the eyes of the Spanish government, I'm still there.
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll make sure we don't tag them in this.
You might need to get back in before the 29th, mate, if it fucking does go fucking tits up. They don't get anything agreed, man.
It'll not happen.
That's us, but we've done well over an hour, mate. I've enjoyed our conversation. It's been really good. It's been random, but this is what podcasting
I needed
is.
it. I was out last night, so my head is hazy. I've got no clarity, so this has been fun.
I enjoyed that.
I really enjoyed it as well, man. Some good chat, man. So cheers for coming on.
Best luck with the show.
Thanks very much.
You want to plug?
I suppose if you want a podcast, if you want something new to listen to, Blethered, as you can see here, that's how it's spelled. It is available on iTunes, Spotify, every other platform. It's a mix of conversation talking about pertinent subjects, the link between booze and drugs and mental health. Each guest is different, but it's all right. I promise I speak with a bit more clarity than I have today. My head is fuzzy, but
you've done well, mate. You've done well.
No, you have carried me.
Not at all, mate. But thanks for coming on again, man.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully get you on in the future if anything pops up, mate.
Anytime.
Awesome, man. Cheers.
I made a promise to whom will not to you, so stop the party. I tried to reconcile a life I lived a while, stop the party. Feeding lies like you'll never know. I don't need to be unhappy with a life to call my own. We'll end up burning bridges sat upon a selfish throne. I will march along this path of ambitious, forceful ties. I'll be dead before it crashes down before my eyes. I know we'll make it through smiles and trials of fire. We'll make the party. I see right through it, the great deceptive fade. You call the party. Feeding lies like you'll never know. I don't need to be unhappy with a life to call my own. We'll end up burning bridges sat upon a selfish throne. I will march along this path of ambitious, forceful ties. I'll be dead before it crashes down before my eyes. There is a life I can see. Life is so predictable, it must be. There is no you, only me.